Here we go. Miami Grand Prix in around 5-6 minutes. There's your grid for today's race. Perez on pole, followed by Alonso, Sainz, Magnussen, Gasly, Russell, Leclerc, Ocon, Verstappen, Bottas. That's the top half of the grid, the top 10. Then the bottom half of the grid is Albon, Hulkenberg, Hamilton, Zhou, De Vries, Norris, Tsunoda, Stroll, Oscar Piastri and Logan Sargent rolls out the grid. You can see a couple of cars out of position. Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, all not in a position where they'd be used to. 20% chance of rain as well today. Apparently there was a bit of a rainstorm last night as well in Miami, so let's see how that plays out. Total of 57 laps today for this race. Race distance of 308 kilometres. Looks quite sunny at the moment, but a bit overcast in distance, so you never know. Bit of rain could be on the way, and that'd spice up the race a lot, considering there's barely no grip anyway as it is. Come on, Sancho, lad. Come on, lads. "19 corners this track. Looks like as well starting on the left hand side, the outside line of the track, because obviously that's the racing line. Looks like that's the stronger starting position. Around 3 minutes to go until race gets underway. Formation lap will start in a minute or two. Actually no, formation lap will start in around 3 minutes. We're on C4, C3 and C2, so we're not on the softest set, we're one step below the softest, so C4 soft, C3 medium, C2 hard. They are the compounds for today's race. For fuck's sake. Also, Strolley's a big shock out of position. That's why you can see the cars that are out of position really on the yards, other than Leclerc. Hamilton on the yards, Stroll on the yards, Verstappen on the yards. But you'd still expect Verstappen to be flying on the yards anyway. Maybe not first 2 or 3 laps. Once they get up to temperature, he'll be flying. Kevin Magnussen, big quali for him yesterday, P4. Then Alonso and Perez on the front right. He's going to be spicy. If it's going to be like Saudi Arabia, Alonso's got a chance down the inside, but the outside line is the much stronger line. So Perez should have the better. Perez should have the better grip into turn 1. Come on, Sancho and Sabitzer, lads. I've got the footy on. Got to have the footy on. Fucking corner. We're getting battered by West Ham, man. Around a minute now to go until formation lap begins. Formation lap has begun. So Perez has led him away. Lap to get the tyres up to temperature. This is so fucking scrappy, man. So shite. Medium hard is the preferred strategy, and we've gone 2-0 down. Oh, he's offside. Fucking hell, we're so shit, man. So bad. So fucking shite. Fucking hell. Is he off? Yeah, he is. Good. If Perez can get a good start, he's on the same tyres as Alonso. If he can get a good start, pull off into distance, could be a breeze for Perez. It did look like Verstappen maybe had 2 to 3 tenths on him a lap, but if Perez can build up a good gap early on while Verstappen stuck in traffic, could be interesting. Could be interesting. It's not going to be like last weekend at Baku where Perez was maybe a bit quicker than Verstappen or equal. So, going to be interesting this. Perez coming around, about to come around to turn 17 now, the last proper corner, then run to the line. So, a lot of waving on this last back straight. Oh, here we go. So sloppy on the ball we are, man. So sloppy. Top 3 are in the grid slots. Perez, Alonso and Sainz. The last 2 cars. I came into the grid slots. Here we go. The first light is on. All the lights are on. The lights are out and away we go. And Perez covers off Fernando Alonso into turn 1. Good start for Perez there, followed by Alonso. Lock up at the back. Oh, looks like AlphaTauri's hit a McLaren there. Looks like it's other than the lock-up in the first corner, looks like everyone's held position pretty much. Hamilton's looking to go around the outside there, well, defend from Norris, but Norris is on the soft tyres and Hamilton's on the hard, so I would expect Norris to get the position there down the inside. Yeah, he has got it. A lot of cars struggling with rear grip so far this lap. Verstappen going down the inside. Makes the move stick, does Max Verstappen there. Hamilton and Norris going side by side throughout this entirety of the lap. Hamilton ahead. Oh, it's Piastri even. Norris is the one at the back. On to lap 2, and Perez has got looks like a comfortable lead to Alonso already there. Looks like around the second half or so. Verstappen hasn't gained up no spots yet, but once those hard tyres kick into gear, he will be flying. Piastri's gained 5 places so far on this first lap. Hamilton still 13th, hasn't moved up any spots. Magnussen down to 7th. Is Verstappen going to make a move there down the inside? He is, sends it down the inside of Valtteri Bottas. Max Verstappen up to P8. Looks like there's a bit of debris in the middle sector there, or something on the track there. Nick De Vries is already down to last after qualifying 15th. As lap 3 starts, Perez has got a 1.2 second lead to Fernando Alonso. Logan Sargent's in the pits. Must have a puncture or some sort of problem there, because those medium tyres on lap 3, that's definitely an unplanned pit stop for Logan Sargent. Yeah, nose change, front wing change for Logan Sargent on lap 3 out of 57. So that's not going to be the greatest news for the Williams boys. That's going to put Sargent out of the race pretty early on. His home Grand Prix, that's not what he would have wanted. As Kevin Magnussen down the inside on Charles Leclerc. Kevin Magnussen makes the move. Outside to inside in the middle sector. That's not what the Ferrari Charles Leclerc would have wanted. Verstappen right up Leclerc's chuff as well. Now, as Magnussen's had a real tank slapper there, coming out of the middle sector, out of turn 16. Leclerc's going to be all over the back of him now. Down to turn 17. DRS open for Charles Leclerc. Down the inside into turn 17. Can he make the move stick? Yes, he has. Verstappen now trying to stick his nose round the outside. Down the inside even. Hasn't been able to get his nose in there yet though. As now Magnussen's going to have a proper run on Charles Leclerc. Verstappen down the inside of both of them. Into turn 1. Magnussen makes a move on Leclerc. Leclerc loses out on 2 positions there. Leclerc now down to 8th. Not the start he would have wanted. I wonder how long until the softs drop off on the McLaren. That'll be a good information for the other cars on the grid. See how long the softs can go. As Hamilton has got the soft of Oscar Piastri behind him, a second behind. Alonso now 1.5 seconds back, with Sainz just a second back from him, and then Gasly and Russell closely follow behind. Verstappen sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix on the hard tyres. Watching the start, it was all quite evenly matched, other than Magnussen and the Ass, who got away really poorly, and then you see Nick de Vries lock up against the back of Norris. That's why those two are at the back. Just on board of Hamilton at the start on those hard compound tyres. Not a lot of wheel spin, to be fair. Tries to go down the inside of Albon. He has quite a good line, does Hamilton, in the middle of the track. Oh, he does clip the Haas of Nico Hulkenberg. And this is Nick de Vries, who obviously locked up into the back of Lando Norris, causing those two to go down to last. If we have a look now, yeah, just completely locks up, goes pretty much underneath the McLaren. That's why these two are now at the back of the pack. Then this is Verstappen's double move down to turn 1. He doesn't need a bit of a toe, but he gets the toe of the two cars ahead. DRS and he doesn't even get down the inside, but before the braking zone makes the move. And Lando Norris is into the box now, onto a set of hard tyres. And so is Piastri. So the soft tyres last around 6 laps, so they're not going to be very helpful for anyone else. So McLaren now pretty much out of the race, and this is a late safety car. Hamilton thinks something's wrong with his front right or front right end plate of the wing. Hamilton not comfortable with the front right of his car at the moment, complaining of some damage as Verstappen goes fastest again. 32.8 for Verstappen. Now it's Verstappen and Russell, the old best buddies from last weekend. Let's see if Verstappen sticks to his word. Said he'd get it back next time. Let's soon see. Bit of a DRS train though, this for Verstappen, so he might struggle in this as he goes fastest again. Just looking on board with Esteban Ocon in the middle sector. Oh, rear end step shot, he has to go over, cut the end of the chicane there, go over the sausage curb. Perez is just maintaining the same gap, 1.5 seconds at the moment, with Verstappen being in the DRS train behind them now. It's not looking good for Perez at the moment. He needs to start to push on. Verstappen half a second quicker last lap round compared to Russell. It looks like tyre degradation is really high, as Alonso came on the radio saying plan A minus 12, which means 12 less laps than they were predicting. So it looks like tyre deg might be real high. So the likes of the hard runners of Hamilton and Verstappen, they might really come into this race, as well as Ocon, Hulkenberg. People on the hard compound tyres might really grow into this race, because if Alonso's correct with his statement of saying that 12 laps less on the tyres he's on, it's going to benefit the people on the stronger tyre compound. And I think Verstappen might get Russell into turn 1 here. Max Verstappen, DRS activated, fastest lap, not close enough this time around. He was around half a second back there, he closed the gap down to around 2/10, but if Russell can stay within the DRS of Gasly, Verstappen might get held up here. Perez almost got the gap up to 2 seconds, back down to 1.5 seconds. Hamilton all over the back of Albon. He really needs to get ahead of Albon and get ahead of Ocon and Hulkenberg, because they're on the same strategy as him and he's behind them at the moment. At the moment, the DRS from Russell and Gasly is really helping him out, causing Verstappen to not be able to get past. This is helping out the likes of the front three, Sainz, Alonso and Perez at the moment. And we have a look on board here of Nick Hulkenberg. He tries to make a move out of bottom to turn 1, locks up the front right, goes straight on, goes deep. Coming up to turn 17, Verstappen on board in the helmet cam, looking close, goes down the inside as Max Verstappen, and he's made the move stick as Max Verstappen. So it looks like even if Russell has DRS, he can't make a move, can't make a dent in Max Verstappen's charge to the front of the field. P5 for Max Verstappen. Russell complaining of vibrations on the brakes, so that's not going to be helpful for him in the braking zones coming up to corners. Might cause him to lock up. Just having a little replay of Max Verstappen's overtake on George Russell here. To be fair, it weren't really a mega lunge. He was side by side and he made the move stick. Now he's going to have a chance to get past Pierre Gasly. Just coming through the middle sector now, the tight part of the lap. He'll be able to stay mega close through here, and on the exit of 16, he'll make the move stick before the braking zone. All over the back of Pierre Gasly. Can he keep it nice and tidy on the exit of 16? He can. Nice traction for Gasly, to be fair. But once the DRS kicks in along with that slipstream, Verstappen will fly by. Here we are, DRS activated. Heading down to turn 17 now. Max Verstappen pulls out down the inside. Late braking, and he makes the move stick. Verstappen up to P4. Next up, a podium spot, Carlos Sainz. And it looks like Russell might have a bit of a run on Gasly here. Gasly going defensive. Russell going down the inside into turn 1. Russell makes the move stick. What a move from Russell. P5. Verstappen's now pulled out a second gap to Russell behind. So now Russell needs to pull away from Gasly. Tries to not get into a bit of a ding-dong battle with him. Try and concentrate on pushing forward to see if he can fight the likes of Sainz and Alonso. Just replay George Russell here. Nicely done. Gets alongside Pierre Gasly. Brakes later than him. Great move from George Russell. And Hamilton in a long DRS train here. He's towards the front of it, but it's got around 6 cars or so from Bottas in 10th all the way down to Stroll in 16th. So it's a long DRS train, and Hamilton's 13th at the moment. He's in the middle of it. Hamilton's race is getting ruined already, as the car ahead, the Williams, a lot more slippery in a straight line compared to the Merc of Russell. I mean Hamilton. As he can't make the move into 17. Could try and line it up, but the Albon ahead is quicker in a straight line than the Merc in general, and he's got DRS, so nothing's going to happen. Hamilton, he can't make a dent. Just not quick enough in a straight line. Meanwhile, Verstappen, 1.5 seconds back from the leading pack. Russell believes it's going to be a Plan A race, which would make me believe it's a one-stop. Possibly a two-stop. Well, it's going to be one or the other, but I don't know what Plan A is for Merc. It's usually a one-stop Plan A. Just the DRS just doesn't work for anyone other than the Red Bull. Sainz is in the DRS of Alonso, who hasn't got DRS ahead. He's 2.5 seconds back from Perez, and he just can't make any use of the DRS. As now Verstappen almost a second back from Sainz now as Perez goes fastest. And then Verstappen goes fastest. What's the difference? 2 tenths in favour of Verstappen that lap round. Leclerc, P8, stuck behind Magnussen still as well. So, like I was saying, it looks like the DRS only effective on the Red Bull. Ferrari, a superior car, can't make a move. DRS not effective. We need that 20% chance of rain to come down, otherwise this could be a very boring race again. Alonso said that Verstappen would get ahead of him by lap 25. I'm saying lap 18 maybe. He's around a second and a half back maybe. 2 seconds back from Alonso at the moment, but he's got Sainz between him. Sainz coming on the radio saying he feels like the front tyres are now starting to struggle. So it looks like high tyre degradation here at the moment. Leclerc got the DRS on Magnussen. Magnussen doesn't even have the DRS, and he doesn't close up enough to make the move. That's how effective the DRS is on every other car other than the Red Bull. As now Verstappen is pretty much on a dot 1 second behind. Leclerc now down the inside on Kevin Magnussen. Makes the move stick. Magnussen on the switchback though. Kevin Magnussen gets the position back. Lovely move from Magnussen. Now Leclerc trying to fight back. Magnussen defends it nicely. Beautifully done from Magnussen there. Gave Leclerc the dummy. Sent him deep into turn 1. Gave him the position. Switch back. Nicely done from Magnussen. Now DRS open again for Charles Leclerc. Down to turn 11. Let's see what Charles Leclerc can do this time round. Charles Leclerc looks close. Charles Leclerc looks very close. Trying to go around the outside of turn 11. No, he's not. He's broke deep. He's going for the switchback now on Kevin Magnussen. Trying to go around the outside of turn 12. No, he can't. Magnussen parks the car nicely. Now through the tight chicane. Now on the exit of turn 16. What's the good traction going to be saying for the two cars? Better traction for the Haas. But the DRS is going to be open. As now Max Verstappen's got the DRS open on Carlos Sainz, who can't make the move into turn 17. Now what can Charles Leclerc do into turn 17 with the DRS open on Kevin Magnussen? Can he make the move? As Perez goes fastest of them all so far. Verstappen then goes fastest again. Leclerc couldn't make the move stick. Well, there's a difference this time around. There's around 2 or 3 tenths in favour of Verstappen here. Gap's around 3 seconds. He really needs to get that gap up to around 5 seconds so he can sort of manage it. He's got the help of Alonso and Sainz holding Verstappen up at the moment. He needs to get his head down to Sergio Perez if he wants to take control of this race fully. As Verstappen now, he looks a lot closer. And he's trying to make the move into turn 11. Max Verstappen makes the move stick. Verstappen up to P3. Can he now make the move on the draggy Aston Martin into turn 17? Fuck's sake, Fernandez, you twat. He's going to have the DRS. I think he might be able to make the move on Fernando Alonso here. The gap is 7 tenths. It's not the longest straight ever, but that car is a lot quicker than the Aston Martin. He's not close enough this time around, but into turn 1, he's going to have a very good chance. At the moment, the gap's around 6 tenths. Let's see what he's got now. As they come across the start-finish line now. DRS wide open. He's not close enough this time around. As Magnussen now comes into the pits, which will relinquish Charles Leclerc. 3, 5, 6, and now coming up to turn 7 is Verstappen behind Alonso as Magnussen into the box. 2.7 pit stop for Kevin Magnussen. Hamilton now should have a chance on Albon. Much quicker car in a straight line is that Williams, but he hasn't got the DRS of Hulkenberg ahead now, so Hamilton should be able to have a chance. As Max Verstappen breezes past into P2 on lap 15, 10 laps earlier than Fernando Alonso made his prediction. Verstappen 3.5 seconds back from the leader Sergio Perez. He's going to breeze to the victory here is Max Verstappen. Lap 15 from P9 to P2. Perez's race engineers come on the radio. Plan A +5, so he wants to go 5 laps longer. Now Verstappen can look straight ahead and see his teammate is the next car up the road. So it's mixed signals for strategy as Alonso feels like he has to go 12 laps less than what the plan A was. And Sergio Perez race engineer believes he can go 5 laps longer than his first strategy option was. So mixed strategies coming around for the teams at the front of the field at the moment as Bottas and Gasly come into the pit. Fucking lost to West Ham. Waste of fucking space them players are. As Hamilton has made the move on Alex Albon. Bottas into the pits for a set of hards as well as Gasly. At the moment, Alonso hanging in Verstappen's DRS at the moment. But Verstappen's probably saving the tyres at this moment in time. He's probably pushed quite hard to get ahead of these cars in. Now be just saving the tyres as we come on board with Lewis Hamilton to watch the replay of him making the move into turn 11, down the inside, makes the move before the braking zone. Nice and easy for Hamilton there. Up to P9 at the moment now. As Alonso's now falling out of the DRS of Verstappen. He's also found around 6 tenths of a second to Sergio Perez. Ooh. Looked like Sainz was a bit sideways there, but I don't think he was. And now Perez came on the radio saying that his front right is starting to give up. Verstappen on those hard compound tyres. This race is really coming into his hands now as well. And he's got the gap down to 3 seconds on the dot now. So he's found around a second already into Perez's time here, Perez's gap. So Verstappen looking strong in this race. Lap 17 out of 57, a long way to go. But Verstappen looking very comfortable at the moment. The medium tyre runners now would like a safety car to come out. Around an hour and 5 laps time. That's when they would like the safety car to come out, as it looks like everyone on the medium compound tyres, their tyres are slowly starting to give way. As Leclerc is 8 seconds back from Russell, who's 3.5 seconds back from Sainz, who's half a second back from Alonso, who's a second half back from Verstappen, who's 2.5 seconds back from Perez. So Leclerc's chance of a podium, like Russell's chances, slowly fading away here. Long way to go, but at the moment, if it stays like this with no safety car, or that 20% chance of rain not coming in, looks like it's going to be an out-and-out battle between the Red Bulls. And it looks like Verstappen at this moment in time is going to be winning that battle, especially on the strategy he's on the hard compound tyres. As Hamilton now got a run on Hulkenberg into turn 17, half a second back, pushing the overtake button. DRS now open. Has Hamilton got enough speed to make the move into turn 17? Hulkenberg goes defensive. Hamilton can't quite make the move stick. He's going to have a better line. Hulkenberg went defensive. I have a tight line. Hulkenberg rear end steps out. Russell's into the pits. So's Leclerc. Hamilton should be able to make the move here into turn 1. Does he make the move? I don't think he did make the move. He was close, but he didn't make the move stick, did Hamilton, as the first leading cars on the medium compound tyre come into the pits. Russell and Leclerc. So it looks like the high compound tyre is the tyre to be on at this race. Looks like the hard is the best race tyre. So Hamilton really needs to clear Hulkenberg, and then he needs to chase Ocon down, who's 5 seconds ahead, because he's on the right tyre to beat at the moment in time. As Verstappen has got the gap down to 2 seconds now. Hamilton not close enough this time around, but you've just got to close the gap up, be nice and tight in the middle section and have a run down to turn 17. As he comes into the braking zone at turn 11 now, the gap's around half a second. Got to keep it nice and tight in this middle sector, have a nice run down to turn 17. If you can't make the move into 17, you want to be able to make the move into turn 1. As Carlos Sainz and Fernando Alonso now having their battle, where Sainz looks like he's the quicker driver at the moment in time, but the DRS is not quite effective enough. Carlos Sainz, trust up down the inside. He's right up his chuff, right up Alonso's chuff, but he can't make the move stick. Sainz coming into the pits. Carlos Sainz is going for the undercut on Fernando Alonso here. Oh, and he's locked up massively into the pit lane there. I wonder if he's sped or not, or if he's broke proper late and just made the pit limiter there. How's the pit stop? Nice and clean for Carlos Sainz there. 2.2 second stop. Very nice for the Ferrari boys there. Sainz is going to try and trigger the undercut then on Fernando Alonso. Let's see what Alonso can do then. What can Alonso do in response to Carlos Sainz? As Hamilton comes out ahead of Carlos Sainz. Sainz comes out in a decent spot there, to be fair. He's got the Williams behind him, but he's came out in a nice little spot where he's got Hamilton ahead. He's around a second half ahead. He is having to defend from Albon at the moment, though, because his hard tyres are cold. But once those tyres come up to temperature, he'll be able to chase down Hamilton and Hulkenberg. What was the lap time last time around between... Verstappen. He's around 3/10 a lap quicker. As we just look at a replay of Perez's tyres, yeah, he's got grading on the front left. Grading on the front left for Sergio Perez there. Tyre just slowly starting to come open a bit. Same on the front right, it looks like. Not the healthiest tyres in the world. As Sainz has joined a bit of a DRS train here. Hamilton needs to make this move stick on Hulkenberg. They're on the same strategy, so this is for position. This isn't like they're on a different strategy and he's getting held up. He's getting held up and they're on the same strategy. So, what can Hamilton's 10 tenths back? No chance of making a move for Hamilton this time around. Now, Sainz is going to get held up in this train as well. The Hulkenberg train, it's becoming a thing. It happened last week at Azerbaijan, it's happening this week at Miami by the looks of things. But Carlos Sainz on his fresh set of tyres is all over the back of Hamilton here. And he's going to have a chance to make a move into turn 1, I think, here is Carlos Sainz. Carlos Sainz, Hamilton trying to defend the middle of the track. Sainz down the inside into turn 1. He makes the move stick. Hulkenberg's been a right fucker here, causing a massive train every week at the moment. And Hamilton's been a problem with that this race as Sainz makes the move up to P6. Hamilton down to P7. Hulkenberg's still ahead of the two at the moment, but I think Sainz on the fresh set of tyres will make the move stick comfortably into turn 17. As we're coming up to turn 11 now, is he close enough? He's around 7 tenths back, so I don't think the DRS is going to be that effective here, but with the fresher grip through the middle sector, the technical part of the lap, I think he'll be able to gain the most time there using the fresh rubber, the fresh grip, to maximise his lap time here. Let's see how much he can close the gap. As the Red Bull boys look like they're about to be ready for a pit stop, as Verstappen's got the gap down to 1.3 seconds. Verstappen's almost in DRS range. Verstappen flying at the moment. Perez has been asked to pit this lap. And Perez boxes this lap. Perez is in. I take it as we're going on to the hard compound tyre. Yes, he is. Is it a good stop for the Red Bull boys? Yep, good stop. 2.2 seconds, the same as Sainz's. Good stop, that. Is Sainz going to be able to make a move on Nico Hulkenberg? He's going to make a move into turn 1. Is Carlos Sainz. Sainz down the inside into turn 1. 2 laps running. 2 moves into turn 1. First on Hamilton. Last on Hulkenberg. Up to P5 now. And the undercut has worked for Carlos Sainz, as Aston Martin have given up on coming in. They're going long now to try and gain that position back later on in the race. So they're letting Sainz tear up his tyres a bit, as Hamilton now is going to be stuck behind Hulkenberg for even longer this race. And Perez just came out a second and a half behind Ocon. So he as long as he doesn't get held up, he'll benefit with a bit of DRS. Yeah, incident involving Sainz. They've noted it for speeding in the pit lane. We don't know if he did speed or not, but he locked up heavily. Oh, Verstappen's got a lot of graining on the front left of that hard tyre, but the front right looks very nice. But that front left, a lot of graining. Hamilton in the DRS of Hulkenberg. He looks so close. Can he make the move? Hamilton into 17. Down the inside and he's backed out. Oh, for fuck's sake. Make the move, lad. Verstappen complaining of his upshifts. Not the smoothest. Why are you not just... You're ruining your own race, Hamilton, lad. You had the opportunity, for fuck's sake. Oh. As Tsunoda goes down the inside of Alex Albon, he makes the move stick, who covered off Lance Stroll as well in the process. But Hamilton has been a fucking twat, man. He's had probably around 2 or 3 opportunities now to make a move, and he's not doing it. As Russell now is all over the back of Stroll as well, coming into turn 7. Fuck's sake, man. Perez gets past Esteban Ocon into turn 11 with the Alpha DRS, gets the move done comfortably before the braking zone. Perez up to P3. He's obviously doing the undercooks on a different strategy, so he will come out ahead of Verstappen. But then Verstappen, who will be on the medium tyre, which didn't look like the strongest race tyre, to be fair, compared to Verstappen and Perez. But Verstappen has had around 3 or 4 attempts, you know, on Perez this weekend. And Alonso's team came on the radio, we're extending, so they're going longer than expected, but that is just to have an advantage later on in the race on Sainz, so they're going to come out further behind Sainz, but then they're going to have the tyre advantage to close that gap up onto Sainz. As Hamilton, DRS activated. Now it's under investigation. Sainz has been in the pit lane. If he's spread in the pit lane, that's going to be a 5-second penalty, or maybe even a stop and go penalty, so that's not going to be great for Sainz, so that could ruin his race. As Albon comes into the pits, Perez fastest lap so far, almost a second quicker, around 7 tenths quicker than Verstappen that lap. Hamilton might as well just stop racing and just save his tyres, because he's every time he gets close, he can easily... And Sainz has been given a penalty. Carlos Sainz has been given a penalty, 5-second penalty for speeding the pit lane. What a dickhead. Carlos Sainz speeding the pit lane. That's now ruined his race with Fernando Alonso. He tried to undercut him. He made the undercut work, and he sped. Russell on the radio, swearing, check the front wing. It looks all good. as Hamilton down the inside into turn 11. Took 23 laps to make the move, but he finally does it. Fucking hell. Up to P6. As Russell trying to make a move on a Lance Stroll into turn 17, can't make the move stick. Oh, getting proper tight with Lance Stroll there. He's going to have a stronger exit. He's on a fresher set of tyres. He should make this move stick way before the braking zone. He's pretty much pushing him across the straight. George Russell DRS activated, and he makes the move stick way before the braking zone. Russell up to P9. And Russell is only around 5 seconds off Hamilton. He's already made a pit stop. Oh dear. Oh fucking dear indeed. Not looking good, that. As now everyone on the field is on the high competitor other than Fernando Alonso, who's yet to stop. Russell's engineers came back saying the front wing looks okay, so clearly Russell was worried about something. Maybe the front right hand plate's bending a bit. Nah, it looks sound. Russell's all good then. Hamilton's 2.5 seconds behind Sainz, and Sainz might fall back into the palms of the likes of Hamilton. Leclerc's down in 14th and he's made a stop. This race is going to really unravel once all the hard competitors have made a pit stop. The average pit stop loss is 17 seconds under normal racing conditions. The gap at the moment between Perez and Verstappen 17.1 seconds, as Alonso is into the pits. He's extended, and it's worked because Sainz is going to grant himself a 5-second penalty. So Alonso now should comfortably have P3 in this race if all goes sailing for him. Smooth sailing for Fernando Alonso. He's got himself a P3 and we're already on lap 25 because it was him and Sainz really in a league of their own. And now Sainz is going to give himself a 5-second penalty. So Alonso comes out only 1.3 seconds behind Sainz, to be fair. But Sainz has got that 5-second penalty, remember. So Alonso, realistically, is around 4.5 seconds ahead. Verstappen was talking, I think, about when he should come in for the medium tyre or not. But his engineers just said, you get on with it and we'll have a look at that. Adrian Newey looks like a right wanker with his fucking Miami hat on. He's like 60 and he's wearing that. What a twat. As Pierre Gasly down, he's on the turn 11. He makes the move stick on Lance Stroll there. Yet to stop Lance Stroll. And it's not looking like he's going to be finishing the points if it stays like this. We really need that rain or a safety car. A bit of rain would proper spice up that. I don't know, to be fair. They can't even overtake in the dry, so overtaking the rain. Don't know if it would make it a better race or a worse race. Strategy wise, it would make it a bit interesting for that little split second it rains. But nicely done from Pierre Gasly. Makes a move into the braking zone. Good move. Hamilton's dropped Hulkenberg by 1.5 seconds. He's 3 seconds back from Alonso, who has already stopped. So Alonso looking good. That way, he's already within half second of Sainz. So he's looking very good for that P3 position. Because Sainz only got Ocon ahead of him, and Perez and Verstappen. And obviously, Perez and Verstappen are fighting for the win, and Ocon jet to pit. So Alonso looking strong for P3 here. Very strong indeed. Stroll's having a little cry on the radio. As Alonso looked like it was very close to coming together with Stroll there. He's going for the switch back into turn 12 now. The long, slow swooping right-hander. 3.13. Then 14. Then 15. Now he's got the exit of turn 16 to deal with. He can get this traction nicely. Sainz might have the DRS if Esteban Ocon ahead. But if he doesn't, Fernando Alonso's going to have a great stretch into turn 17 or in down to turn 1. Sainz doesn't have the DRS, so Alonso's going to be gaining and gaining. Alonso's looking close. He's not going to be able to make the move into turn 17, but he's looking very close now. If he can nail this exit, he's going to have a great run. He's got around, how many laps better are his tyres? 6 lap better tyres. He's going to have much better grip. Fernando Alonso into turn 1. Can he make the move? He's going to try and go around the outside. He can't make the move. Defended nicely from Sainz. Parked his car in the middle of the track. Nicely done from Carlos Sainz there. Alonso going to have to try and make the move into turn 11. As we come up to the fast turn 4, 5 and 6 part, going to have a little replay of George Russell here, who makes a move on Yuki Tsunoda in the braking zone at turn 11. Nicely done. Russell's looking on for maybe a P5, P6 finish here, with Hamilton looking like maybe P9 or P10, which ain't great points for Merck, but I think Russell will take a P5. He's probably going to be fighting with Carlos Sainz. Speaking of Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso down the inside into turn 11. He makes the move stick on Carlos Sainz. And next up for Alonso is Esteban Ocon, who is yet to pit. Alonso now up to P4, provisionally P3. As we come up to turn 16, he's going to have... Oh no, he's dropped out of the DRS of Ocon for making that move. Albon's saying he's pushing too much, he doesn't agree with it. Not healthy for the tyres he's on. Albon is he's down to 16th. Albon wasn't on the hard tyres, was he? Albon, yeah, 4 lap hard tyres. So Albon has pit. And now Sainz, he's going to, realistically, he's just got to try and stick in Fernando Alonso's DRS and let Alonso drag him along, because he's not fighting with Alonso no more with that 5-second penalty. So he realistically needs to stick into his DRS, as Russell is all over the back of Hülkenberg here. Hülkenberg obviously yet to pit. If Russell can make this move, next up the road is Hamilton. As we're through turn 6, then turn 7. Got the long turn 7. Then turn 8. Russell's really close. Obviously the dirty head doesn't help with the exit. But now we've got the run down to turn 11. George Russell looking good here for the move. DRS not. Fucking hell, pardon me. DRS activated for turn 11. George Russell, can he make the move stick? Down the inside into turn 11. George Russell up to P7. He is now looking very strong for around a P5 finish. Possibly P4. And Perez, he's not making a dent into Verstappen. He really isn't making a dent. If it is a 17-second gap, he's only going to come out 1 second ahead of Verstappen, who's obviously yet to stop, and he's got a 16-second lead. Verstappen, what are the lap times saying? He was only 2 tenths quicker last lap was Perez, unless if he's really easing off on his tyres and he's conditioning them, so when Verstappen makes his stop he can then push on. He's not looking great here, is Sergio Perez. That's Fernando Alonso now. Looking good for making a move on Esteban Ocon into turn 11. As we come around turn 8 now, the long sweep of turn 7, then it's not a sharp 8, but it's not the easiest corner to navigate in the world. Late apex. Fernando Alonso all over the back of Esteban Ocon, and he's going to make the move stick before the braking zone. Fernando Alonso up to P3 into turn 11, makes the move stick. 10 seconds back from Perez. Alonso looking good here for the P3. On a track where the Aston Martin and the Mercs were both looking a bit shite, Alonso's looking strong here in this Aston Martin, and it looks like he's going to be comfortable for P3. Sainz struggling to make any sort of dent into Ocon, who is yet to stop. Can he make a move into turn 1 on Esteban Ocon, Carlos Sainz? He's around half a second back, so I don't think he's going to be close enough. No, not close enough is Carlos Sainz. Finds around a tenth or two, but not close enough. If Ocon can just hold into Fernando Alonso's DRS, he'll be able to drag himself along, and he'll be probably able to keep Sainz behind for a bit longer than expected. As Russell now, second and a half back from his teammate Lewis Hamilton. Pardon me. Sainz coming down to turn 11. He looks close. He looks very close. Down the inside. Brakes later. Makes the move. And he has made the move stick into the tight twisty part of the lap. Carlos Sainz makes the move stick. On the exit of 16. He's fallen a bit back from Alonso, but he's made the move stick. Oh, there's something on the track there. Don't know if it was head jog or something, but the cars are having to avoid it. Something's on the racing line on the back straight to turn 17. I don't know if it's a bit of carbon fibre or anything. If it is, it might have to be a safety car or a virtual safety car. If it's head jog, then it needs to watch out. Otherwise, it's going to have a very short life. That's if it's a young head jog. If it's an old one, then it's going to have a long life and a painful death because of F1 car, Richard. It's not going to be nice, that. Verstappen looking very good still. Gaps 15 seconds. Perez, last time around, was slower than Verstappen. So that's impressive. Verstappen on 30 lap old tyres. Perez on 10 lap old tyres. And Perez can't even go quicker than Verstappen. Verstappen has had his number this weekend round Miami, as old Max Verstappen. As Sainz is a second and a half back. And it looks like Hamilton and Russell are closing on this pack. Obviously Russell's pitted, Hamilton yet to pit. But Ocon, who Hamilton will be racing for around P7 maybe, P8, is yet to pit as well. And Hamilton's closing in on him. So that could be an interesting battle before they pit or after they pit. As Russell is almost within a second of Hamilton's been asked to let Russell through. I think turn 11 will probably be the best spot to do this because Russell will have he'll have a lot of speed with the DRS and the toe into turn 11, and Hamilton won't lose a lot of time there. So I think turn 11 will be a good spot to let Russell through if Hamilton's going to obey to the team. And then if Hamilton can stick with Russell, which it don't look like he can, to be fair, he's around 7 tenths a lot slower. Hamilton said he can go by, but he's not backing off. Hamilton hasn't let him through into turn 11. Oh, he has let him through. Hamilton has let George Russell through. And I think he's done that technically because it's in the middle part of the lap. He's not going to fall a second back. He's going to get the DRS on Russell. Hamilton's playing it smart there. He's going to have lost a bit of time, but he's going to gain it all back with the DRS. Russell's came on the radio saying thank you very much. But I think Hamilton's just done that thinking, you know what, I'll be able to hold on to his DRS for a lap or two. I'm a lot slower, but the DRS is going to be helpful for me there. So he's just let him through in the middle sector and gain a bit of the DRS. As Perez, Verstappen just set the fastest lap of the race on 32 lap old tyres. Verstappen just at the fastest lap of the race. Oh dear, Perez, he's not looking a great nick here, his old Sergio Perez. Ooh, Hulkenberg ran wide there, almost went into the wall. And it looks like he's going to get swallowed alive. It looks like Gasly and Stroll are going to be all over the back of him here. They're going to both have the DRS. So is Hulkenberg, but he's going to be a bit slower than them because of the top speed. Stroll going down the inside. Has to back out of it. And then Gasly going around the outside. What a move from Pierre Gasly. What a move. Looked like the position was lost. Poked his nose around the outside. Beautifully done. And Hulkenberg's now got a train of around 5 cars behind him again. Bloody hell. Did Ocon make a move on Sainz, or did Sainz never overtake Ocon? I feel like Ocon's overtaken Sainz again. As Hulkenberg now comes into the box. Hulkenberg pits on lap 34. And Russell's on for a P4 finish here. He's a second half behind Sainz, and Sainz got a 5-second penalty. So even if he doesn't pit again, he's got P4 because Ocon needs to pit. So Russell, if he P4 on a weekend like the weekend it's been, that's a great drive from Russell, and it's great points for Merck. Hamilton can come out into the pits and get P7 as well. I think P7 from P13 in the car that has not been good all weekend. I think he won't be happy with it, but he'll look around and take the positives from that. As Sainz down the inside on turn 11 makes the move stick on Esteban Ocon, who has fallen back around 3.5 to 4 seconds now from Fernando Alonso, as just 3 seconds on the dot from Fernando Alonso. So the undercut hasn't gone to plan for Carlos Sainz, especially with him getting that 5-second penalty. Leclerc complaining about his car jumping all over the place, a lot of bouncing. Just a replay of Sainz's move, nicely done. Not much fighting from Esteban Ocon, no need to fight obviously. His main competitor today is Lewis Hamilton. And Hamilton and Russell are really closing in now on the likes of Ocon and Sainz. Getting very close indeed. The Ferrari's struggling. Ocon's struggling, who hasn't yet to pit. And Hamilton is just staying in within the DRS of Russell, which is just towing him along nicely. Just closing the gap up to the 2 cars ahead. Nicely done from the 2 Merc boys here. Hamilton, he's either just got the DRS or he's just missed out on it. He hasn't got the DRS this time around as Hamilton. So this is where Hamilton's going to probably slowly drop back. It might be time to be fair, the undercut's not going to be very effective though, because Ocon's he's sticking with the DRS of Carlos Sainz. As Verstappen goes and sets the fastest lap, a full 2 tenths quicker than Perez on tyres that are 15 laps older than Perez. No, not 15, 20 laps older than Perez. Whew, bloody hell, I tell ya. Perez having an absolute stinker there. Russell looking good for a move on Esteban Ocon here. I think Ocon might come in this lap. Is Ocon coming in this lap? No, he's not. He's staying out. He's dropped out of the DRS as Esteban Ocon. And Russell has got the DRS on Esteban Ocon. And Russell into turn 1. Down the inside. Makes the move stick. Russell up to P5. Which is a net P4 with Carlos Sainz's penalty. Nice drive this from Russell. The Merc, it's looked slow all weekend. It hasn't come alive in the race, but it's looked more usable and it's looked stronger in the race. Russell now a net P4 with Hamilton on the neck of Esteban Ocon, both yet to pit. And Charles Leclerc, P12, he's been on the same set time for 18 laps. He pit early, and he's been struggling here as old Charles Leclerc. He's only around 7 seconds back from Hamilton, so he's still on for a decent result once everyone ahead of him pits that needs to pit, which is Stroll, Tsunoda, Hamilton and Ocon, as well as Verstappen, but Verstappen's not in their race, as Perez goes, is that 2 tenths quicker? 2 tenths quicker than Verstappen that time around, getting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. And car number 16 looks very good here for a move. Charles Leclerc, car number 16, looks very good to be making a move on car number 20, Kevin Magnussen. Can he make the move into turn 17? Yes, he can. No, it looked like he wasn't going to brake late enough, but he braked late enough indeed, and he made the move stick into 17. Charles Leclerc up to P11, which is now going to become P10 because Yuki Tsunoda is coming to the pit. Charles Leclerc into the points paying positions. But now Kevin Magnussen going back down the inside into turn 1. Magnussen has been a thorn in Leclerc's side all evening. He's back up to P10. It's Kevin Magnussen. Leclerc cannot keep Magnussen behind him at all, but Magnussen can keep Leclerc behind him, that's for sure. Leclerc back down to P11 now, as Hulkenberg sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix in P15, 30.9. As Russell now looks like he's got DRS on Carlos Sainz, and George Russell now looks like he's going to make a move, late braking into turn 11, and George Russell makes a great move up to P4. Without the 5-second penalty, Russell would be in P4 anyway. Sainz is struggling here. He might slowly fall back into the hands of Hamilton, even though Hamilton's got to make a stop. Sainz is really slow. It's now Leclerc, side by side with Kevin Magnussen into turn 11, then turn 12, now turn 13, then turn 14 and 15, the slow chicane. Charles Leclerc all over the back of Kevin Magnussen. Is he going to make the move into turn 17? We'll find out now. We're on the exit of turn 16. The long back straight. Charles Leclerc going to have the DRS wide open. He's going to have a good run on him here. Can he make the move stick? Last time around he made the move into turn 17, but then he lost the position into turn 1. Is he going to think about it this time? Is he going to sit back, or is he going to make the move into turn 17 again? Charles Leclerc sits back this time. He doesn't make the move into turn 17. He knows if he makes the move into turn 17, Magnus has a chance to attack him into turn 1. As Hamilton now comes into the box. Charles Leclerc looks very good for a move here into turn 1. Charles Leclerc all over the back of Kevin Magnussen. DRS wide open. Charles Leclerc down the inside. Can he make the move stick? Kevin Magnussen loses the position as Charles Leclerc is finally through. Hamilton, where's he going to come out? So Lewis Hamilton back down to P13. He started 13th and he's come out in 13th, just behind Alex Albon. Hamilton now, for these first, I'd say 5 laps, getting those tyres up to temperature, is where he's going to be at his strongest. After, I'd say, 2 or 3 laps on those tyres, that's where those tyres are going to be at the strongest. He's going to have a good advantage on the likes of Albon, Bottas, Magnussen, who have had their tyres, hard tyres on for around 20 laps now. As Hamilton's already made a move on Alex Albon. Hamilton up to P12. As we're just watching a replay of Charles Leclerc's overtake. Nothing special. Makes the move in the braking zone. The DRS pushes him forward and he makes the move stick. As we're now on board with Russell watching his replay. The closing speed was ridiculous. It didn't look like it was going to be close enough, and then all of a sudden, massive lunge down the inside. Great move from Russell. P4 is a great result for Russell here. And Hamilton, to be fair, he's in the striking range of Ocon, Gasly, Stroll, Leclerc. He's on for a P6 finish here, is Hamilton, if he can keep this pace up. As Perez is now fallen out of undercut range from Verstappen, who's on 38 lap old tyres. This isn't looking good for Perez here. Earlier on in the race, when Verstappen was in a bit of traffic, he got the gap up to around 3.5 seconds, and I was saying, you know, if he get this gap up to 5 seconds, he might be able to have a bit of dictate, you know, he might be able to dictate the race a bit more. He hasn't been able to dictate the race at all. In fact, Verstappen's been dictating the pace out in front. The second Perez was on these compound tyres, Verstappen's been able to lap faster by 2 or 3 tenths or equal to Perez. As Hamilton now looking to make a move on Bottas into turn 11, can't quite make the move stick here. But you can see the grip advantage he's got. He's going to be all over the back of Bottas into turn 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. As he rides the curbs through turn 15, then 16. He's just got to line up nicely. Bottas misses the apex. He should get good traction though. But Hamilton, with a fresh rubber, pressing the overtake button. The DRS is now wide open as we head down to turn 17. The Mercedes isn't the quickest car in a straight line. But Hamilton, Bottas defends the inside. Hamilton goes around the outside. Goes for the switchback. Hamilton says, see you later to Valtteri Bottas. Oh dear, fucking hell. But he makes the move stick. Hamilton up to P11. Nicely done. Next up, Kevin Magnussen. 6 seconds up the road. And he's got ahead of Esteban Ocon. He's undercut Esteban Ocon nicely as Hamilton there. So that's 1 place gained. P10. Stroll yet to stop. He's going to have to pace on Magnussen and Leclerc, who are only around 2.5 seconds behind Gasly. So he's on for a P6 finish here. And if he has proper good pace, Gasly's 8 seconds behind Sainz. If it stays that gap by the time Hamilton closes up to Gasly, he needs to find 3 seconds. And then he's within 5 seconds and Sainz has got a 5-second penalty. So the race for P5, P6 is on here for Hamilton. As we just watch a replay of Hamilton's move here. Gives Valtteri Bottas the dummy into turn 17. Sends him deep. Goes around the outside. Sends him deep. Goes for the switcheroo. Causes him to have better traction. Makes the move stick. Way before turn 1. Way before the start finish line even. The help of the DRS helps him make the move stick. Oh teammates. Hamilton gets past Bottas. P10. Now he's got to get his head down and close up the gap to Magnussen. Pull away from Ocon because you don't want to get stuck in the battle of Ocon. You want to close the gap up to the hard compound tire runners ahead. As we're on board with Verstappen, yet to pit. 41 laps into this race. We saw the softs do round 6 laps on the McLaren. I'd guess they could probably do a bit more on the Red Bull. Probably got a bit better tyre wear, the old Red Bull. So I don't know if he's going to go until lap 50, lap 51, do 50 laps on the hard compound tyre. That 20% chance of rain doesn't look like it's on its way. As Verstappen goes fastest in the first sector on 40 lap old hard compound tyres, which is impressive. Is Verstappen in this lap? Nope, he goes on for another lap. So that's going to be 41 laps now on a set of hard compound tyres for Max Verstappen. As Hamilton's found 9 tenths to Magnussen, and he's found around 2 or 3 tenths from Esteban Ocon. So Hamilton looking good here for Magnussen, who's dropped away from Charles Leclerc. Gap 2.2 seconds from there. So Hamilton, once he closes up, as Hamilton now goes fastest in the first sector. Once Hamilton closes up to Magnussen, that should be an easy move, especially with the DRS, considering Magnussen will not have a slipstream or any DRS. So Hamilton now looking for a P5, P6 finish, which would be a very great weekend, considering how poor the Mercs have been, which would also be more points than Aston Martin, who are ahead of him in the Constructors' Championship, and more points than the Ferraris, who are behind them in the Championship. Just on board with Hamilton, battle for 9th, striking distance, 2 laps they believe. The gap is 3.5 seconds. He's finding around half a second to a second half a lap is Hamilton. What was the difference last time around? Second half last time around, Hamilton found time. So we keep that up. Give him 2 laps, he'll be within DRS. I think Verstappen is coming in this lap. I think Max Verstappen will be coming in this lap. $15 laps to go in this Grand Prix, and Verstappen yet to box, but I think he is coming in this lap. Magnussen started P4. He said, because obviously the Haas isn't the quickest car in the world, he said, if we can get in the points, happy days. He's P9 at the moment. He's got Hamilton and Ocon going to be breathing down his neck very soon. Hamilton 3 seconds back, Ocon 4 seconds back. He's going to have 2 superior cars ahead of him, well behind him, and he's going to try and make sure they don't get ahead of him. I think Hamilton's going to be hard to keep behind. Ocon, it'll be an easier task, but I still think Ocon will have the pace. As if Magnussen looks in his mirrors now, he will see Hamilton closing up 2.9 seconds behind now. He hasn't found a lot of time this lap as Hamilton, as Lance Stroll comes into the pits. Russell saying his tyres are in decent nick. Oh, not the quickest stop in the world for Lance Stroll. 3 second stop, not awful, not great. As Stroll drops down to 15th, so Hamilton now up to 9th. So Magnussen, even if Ocon and Hamilton overtake him, he will still get 1 point. Which obviously, when you get 1 point, you're not always the happiest in the world, but a point's a point, especially for Haas. They take that in their battle for around P7, P8 in the Constructors. Stroll, P15 in that Aston Martin with a teammate third. Not a great weekend for Stroll. He might be able to come on a charge. He's got around 11 laps, 12 laps to fight his way through the field into the top 10. He's probably around maybe 10 seconds back. Yeah, he's probably around 7 to 10 seconds back from the points is Lance Stroll. So he's got around 12 laps to do it. He's going to have a superior car to the cars around him. He's going to have superior tyres to the car around him. Let's see what he can do. As Hamilton's, he's not plateaued. If you look at his lap time, he's still around half a second to 7 tenths a lap quicker. But it's not that second half lap quicker. But that's now probably he might have gone for a bit of graining phase on the mediums now. We might have pushed him a bit too hard. Well, they've hit a bit of a brick wall. But once they come out of the brick wall phase, they'll have the pace back in them. He should still be quicker though than Magnussen, as he's got the gap down to now 1.9 seconds. And Ocon doesn't seem like he's quick enough at the moment to close the gap into that 1 second mark where Ocon can have the DRS and put the pressure on Hamilton. Hamilton now got the gap down to 1.8 seconds. Hamilton will have DRS very soon if he can keep this up. Is Verstappen going to be coming in this lap? I thought it was coming in around a lap ago, 2 laps ago. It hasn't come in. Is he coming in now? Max Verstappen staying out again. Yet to pit Max Verstappen. He's done 44 laps on that set of tyres now as we go on to lap 45. And he is still quicker by 2 tenths of Sergio Perez on 20 lap older tyres. Oh no, he's not, as Perez just goes pumps in the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton, he's been a second a lap, 1.3 seconds quicker, 7 tenths quicker, 7 tenths quicker in the last 4 laps. He's now 1.5 seconds back from Kevin Magnussen, so this time next lap he will have a run on to turn 17 to see if he can make the move. Hamilton looking for P8 here, with the 2 cars ahead possibly in reach, Leclerc and Gasly, but science looks like even with the 5 second penalty he's going to be out of reach, so it looks like Hamilton's going to be front for P6. 12 laps to go. Hamilton now within a second of Kevin Magnussen, so he's going to try and use the DRS, use the slipstream to close the gap up nicely into turn 11, use the superior tyre grip through the technical part of the lap, turns 14, 15, and then see if he can get good traction with the fresher tyres at turn 16 and make the move. As Verstappen on lap 45 has finally been asked to box as he comes into the pits. He's going to come out a second and a half ahead of Perez on superior tyres as well. Sergio Perez, not a good weekend. Sergio Perez, or he might come out just ahead. Sergio Perez. Perez is going to come out just ahead. Yes, Perez has just came out ahead, but the gap should be so much bigger than that. He should have around a 5-10 second lead gap. That is poor from Sergio Perez. He's only got a 7 tenths gap with Verstappen on fresh medium tyres with 9 laps to go. As Hamilton got the gap down to around 8 tenths, he's now going to have a run on Kevin Magnussen into turn 17. I don't think he's going to be quick enough this time around, but turn 1 is where the chance of the overtake could happen. Let's see how long then. We got how many laps to go? We've got 11 laps to go. How long can Sergio Perez hold on to this lead of the Grand Prix? Verstappen on 20 lap older compound tyres was around 3/10 lap quicker on some occasions. Now he's got 25 laps better tyres. His tyres are 25 laps younger than Sergio Perez. What's the difference going to be between the two drivers now, as Verstappen's already found around 8/10 this lap in the middle sector alone? I think this move's going to be done very easily. As Hamilton gets past Kevin Magnussen. Next up for Hamilton is Charles Leclerc, 5 seconds up the road. But meanwhile, out front, Max Verstappen, I think into 10-11, might have this move covered off nicely, as the gap now is down to half a second as we go through turn 4, 5, 6 and 7, through turn 5, then 6 and 7, then we've got turn 8. Verstappen won't even need to push the car. He's got superior tyres. He's got the slipstream, he's got the DRS. He will crawl up to the back of Sergio Perez. Can he make the move to turn 11? He's closing up. Can't quite make the move stick. Can Max Verstappen? As we now go through turn 12, 13, 14 and 15, the tight chicane. And Max Verstappen is pretty much pushing Sergio Perez along the straight. Max Verstappen, he wouldn't even need the DRS to make the move stick here, I don't think. But he's going to get the DRS. And he's going to get the slipstream. And is he going to make the move stick into turn 17? Sergio Perez defends the inside. Max Verstappen trying to go around the outside. Sergio Perez defends the inside nicely. But Max Verstappen gets the switch back. Better traction. He hasn't got side by side. Sergio Perez looks like he's got it covered off at the moment. Sergio Perez now covering the inside. Can Max Verstappen make the move into turn 1? Max Verstappen around the outside. Sergio Perez brakes later. Can he make the move stick? Can Max Verstappen around the outside? Max Verstappen makes a move into the lead of the Miami Grand Prix. He has made the move stick. It looked like he had this race won with Perez's awful pace on the R compound tyre. It looked like Perez might have been able to put up a fight, but no, he cannot. Perez falls down to P2. Verstappen up to P1. Meanwhile, Hamilton's found around a second on Charles Leclerc. Sonoda makes a move, and so does Stroll make a move on Hulkenberg. Has Hulkenberg gone off? Doesn't look like it. Just watching the replay, Max Verstappen's overtake. It looked like it was done, but Perez broke later, almost running to the side of Verstappen, but it was fair. It was tough racing. Verstappen takes the lead of the Grand Prix, and if the result stays like this, he will extend his championship lead as well. People were saying if Perez wants to fight for the championship, he can't just do well at street circuits. And so far this season, he won at Jeddah, street circuit. He won at Baku, street circuit. So, looks like it's not going great for Perez here. Already a second half back. People say Miami's a street circuit, but it's not a proper street circuit. As now we've got a battle going on for P12. Sonoda, Albon, Stroll and Hulkenberg. DRS train going on here. Actually, it's a battle for P11. Bottas is towing all of these along as well. As Stroll trying to make a move on Albon into turn 17, trying to go around the outside of Alexander Albon is Lance Stroll. He's going to go for the switchback now. Stroll's parked his car nicely, to be fair, but Stroll's now pretty much pushing Alex Albon along the start-finish line as Stroll opens the DRS. Albon cuts across to defend the inside. Stroll with the DRS tries to go around the outside. Stroll all the way around the outside, makes the move stick through turn 2 and 3. He pulls away. Stroll up to P13. Hamilton around 6 tenths a lap quicker than Leclerc at the moment. Always Albon almost ran into the back of Stroll. We locked up. As we now ride on board with Hamilton. In the technical parts of the lap, he does gain more time, but then the straight line speed, it's not the greatest for the Merc, and that's where the Ferrari Leclerc can just about push out an advantage. They believe the striking distance is going to be 2 laps between Hamilton and Leclerc. I think it might be a bit longer than that. And I think we maybe get that 54. I don't think he's going to be able to get Pierre Gasly, especially now as Charles Leclerc looks like he's closing on Gasly, going to get the DRS, which is going to tow him along, which is going to make it virtually impossible to overtake. Alonso just came on the radio. He's obviously been watching the telly at the track because he's asked what position his teammate is and saying he's made a great move to turn 1. He's in a word of his own, Alonso. He's got Russell 7 seconds behind him and he's got Perez 16 seconds ahead of him. So here we're taking this P3 though. P3 in the driver's standings so far looking great for Fernando Alonso. Meanwhile, Hamilton, he's found around half a second this lap in the first sector alone. And Charles Leclerc can find half a second in the other 2 sectors. He'll be loving life. As Leclerc is just fallen a bit further back from Pierre Gasly. Perez came on the radio saying this match struggling. They came back saying he's just managing in sector 1. But he's almost 3 tenths quicker than you. So I think you're the one struggling, Sunshine. As Hamilton's found around a second this lap. If he wants to get Pierre Gasly, he's going to need to get ahead of Charles Leclerc lap 33, lap 34. He'll give himself 2 laps, 3 laps to be able to make that move on Pierre Gasly. So Hamilton needs to get a bit of a move on here if he wants to make that move stick. Meanwhile, Yuki Tsunoda and Valtteri Bottas into turn 17. Can he make the move? He's going to try and go around the outside. He's broke away later. It's a great move from Yuki Tsunoda. What a move from Yuki Tsunoda. Completely outbroke Valtteri Bottas and did him beautifully around the outside of turn 17. But now Valtteri Bottas, DRS activated. Going for the move on Yuki Tsunoda into turn 1. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. Beautifully defended from Yuki Tsunoda. P11 for Yuki Tsunoda. Hamilton's now got the gap down to 1.5 seconds on Charles Leclerc. He will be in striking distance towards the end of the lap now. Hamilton getting closer and closer now to Charles Leclerc, close to being able to make that move stick. Four tenths off the DRS is 4 tenths Hamilton's off the DRS of Charles Leclerc, and Charles Leclerc is a tenth off the DRS of Gasly, but Charles Leclerc keeps, going from around 1.1 seconds to 1.5 seconds back. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll now looking to make a move with Valtteri Bottas. Trying to go around the outside of turn 11. Can he make the move stick? No, he can't. But he cuts under. Try and make the switch back. No, he can't. You can't really make a switch back into turn 12. So now he's going to sit back for turn 13, 14 and 15 to try and make a move down to turn 17 or set one up for turn 1. Meanwhile, Hamilton still around 1.3 seconds back. And now Leclerc's within the DRS of Pierre Gasly. So that's not great news for Hamilton, who's dropped back even more now. I did say I don't think Hamilton will make the move on Leclerc, and he's dropped back by around half a second. Meanwhile, Lance Stroll trying to make a move in turn 17 of Valtteri Bottas. Bottas has lost 2 positions in 2 laps, both at turn 17. One around the outside, one down the inside. But yet again, Bottas is going to have the DRS on Lance Stroll down to turn 1. This time he looks a lot closer than he did on Yuki Tsunoda, but he can't make the move. Lance Stroll covers him off. P12 for Lance Stroll. Hamilton's now closed the gap up against the Leclerc, but now Leclerc's got the DRS. Hamilton's going to really need to pluck a lot of time out in the middle sector as Verstappen goes on to set the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, 30.3 for Max Verstappen. 5 laps to go. Sainz is closing back up to Russell, but it doesn't matter because he's got that 5-second penalty. as we ride on board with Charles Leclerc, who's got the DRS now, which is hampering Hamilton's progress. He don't look quite close enough to make a move on Pierre Gasly into 17, but he closed up massively in the braking zone. He might be close enough for a move into turn 1. Traction's a bit better on the Alpine there, but Pierre Gasly looks close enough to make a move here. Pierre Gasly, DRS wide open, he's around 3 tenths back. He's Charles Leclerc from Pierre Gasly. Even 3 tenths back, not close enough, but Pierre Gasly locks up, and Charles Leclerc now makes a switch back. Charles Leclerc makes the move. Up to P6 is Charles Leclerc. Hamilton now closes up. 5 tenths back. Hamilton has joined the battle with 5 laps to go. Can Hamilton get into the mixer and overtake the both of them? Hamilton all over the back of Charles Leclerc. Pierre Gasly even. 3, 4, 5 and 6. Now around 7. Now around turn 8. And Hamilton pretty much pushing Pierre Gasly along there. But Pierre Gasly still within the 1 second of Charles Leclerc, who's going to have the DRS. I don't think Hamilton's going to be close enough to be able to make the move down to turn 11, but Hamilton right in the battle now. Hamilton, DRS wide open. Hamilton down into the inside of turn 11. Hamilton makes the move. Hamilton now up to P7. He's going to be all over the back of Charles Leclerc now. Can he make the move on Charles Leclerc? Up to P6. Through turn 13, 14, 15. Now through turn 16. Hamilton 8 tenths back from Charles Leclerc. Charles Leclerc a bit sideways there. Snap oversteer for Charles Leclerc. Hamilton's going to have the DRS wide open. He's not going to be close enough to be able to make a move into turn 17. But Hamilton's going to be able to line one up into turn 1. Hamilton 8 tenths back now. He's going a full 20 kilometres an hour quicker down the back straight with DRS. Hamilton closes the gap up now. He's a full 5 tenths back. Hamilton trying to line it up. He's not going to be close enough, I don't think, for turn 1, but maybe turn 11 is Hamilton. If Merck can finish 4th and 6th, this will be a great result from considering how the weekend's been going so far. Hamilton, oh, he looked like he was going to maybe try and stick his down the inside of turn 1, but not close enough. Then now have to try and line it up, stick nice and close. Conserve the tyres so he can have a good attack into turn 11 or turn 17. Hamilton now, half a second back from Charles Leclerc as he navigates the middle sector, well, navigates the first sector even. He looks like he might be close enough to make the move here. Lewis Hamilton on Charles Leclerc, DRS activated, he's going down the inside. Charles Leclerc tries to outbrake him. Hamilton makes the move stick. Hamilton up to P6. Charles Leclerc looks like he was trying to peek his nose around the outside there of turn 12, but he can't. Through 13, now 14 and 15. Hamilton from 13th to 6th. That is nicely done from Hamilton. As now he's going to try and push on, pull away from Leclerc. He's not going to be close enough to get into sight. He needs to find 10 seconds to get within that 5-second gap. But Leclerc down to P7. Hamilton P6. As we watch a replay of it again, Leclerc tried to cover off the inside, but Hamilton said, "No, you don't, mate." And he stuck it down the inside. Nicely done. Move done in the braking zone. Hits the apex nicely. And the fans on the corner of turn 11 were absolutely loving that. Hamilton up to P6. As Verstappen coming down to the back straight, about to start his penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Lap 55 out of 57. As he comes around turn 17 in a minute now. As he comes up to the braking zone of turn 17. Max Verstappen has dominated this race. Truly dominated it as he starts his penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Max Verstappen crosses the line now to start the penultimate lap with Sergio Perez 3 seconds behind him. Verstappen's pretty much led every single lap since Perez boxed. Perez didn't have the pace to pull away. If it was vice versa, I think Verstappen would have came out with around a 10-second lead and Perez would have been chasing him down. Verstappen came out a second and a half behind. Not good enough from Perez this weekend. Got lucky with the pole yesterday and hasn't been able to capitalise with Verstappen starting P9. He still finishes around 4 seconds behind him. Not good enough, that. Not good enough. As Leclerc is now fallen to a second and a half behind Lewis Hamilton. And now Verstappen onto the back straight. Got to navigate one more corner, and then he will start the last lap of the Grand Prix. I think the people have proven that starting on the hard to medium strategy was the better strategy today. Verstappen's won the race as he starts his now final lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton's gone from he's just had the fastest lap of the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. Hamilton's gone from 13th to 6th. Ocon's 9th. Hasn't worked out for the likes of Hulkenberg and Zhou. Stroll, he's close to P11, but I don't think he's going to be 3 seconds quicker than Magnussen on the last lap. So Stroll, it's worked for Stroll considering he was 18th. As Verstappen coming up to turn 11 now on the first back straight, the first long straight of the lap. Comes around turn 10, then turn 11, into the braking zone now of turn 11. Max Verstappen is now 5 seconds clear of Sergio Perez. Absolutely shocking. Absolutely shocking from Perez. He should have had Verstappen chasing him down with the strategy he was on, but he wasn't able to do it. As Verstappen now navigates turn 16, as he comes onto the back straight. Max Verstappen coming up to the braking zone of turn 17. He has dominated this race pretty much from around lap 25. He has led most of the laps as Max Verstappen rounds the last corner to win the Miami Grand Prix. Verstappen wins it in convincing style with Perez P2. Alonso, he weren't expected to be on the podium this week, I don't think. Comes around the last corner now, turn 17, the last proper corner I should say. He'd take P3 all day of the week. He finishes P3. He extends his lead in P3 in the Drivers' Championship. George Russell will take P4. Mercedes outscore Ferrari on a weekend where Ferrari were probably the second quickest car. They will take that every day of the week as Hamilton almost got within 5 seconds of Russell, well, within sights, I'll say. 9.5 seconds back, give him another 2 or 3 laps. That would have been 4th and 5th, and I think that, well, Lewis definitely would have taken 5th on a day like today. As Leclerc comes across the line to finish P7, Gasly P8, Ocon P9, Magnussen P10, and Yuki Tsunoda holds off Lance Stroll for P11, Stroll 12th, Valtteri Bottas P13, Alex Albon P14, Nico Hulkenberg 15th, Zhou Guanyu 16th, Lando Norris, really quiet race for Lando Norris, P17, Nick De Vries 18th, Piastri and Sargent 19th and 20th. Verstappen absolutely walking the park for him this weekend. Imagine if he didn't fuck up his first lap in qualifying, and Leclerc didn't bin it. Imagine if he put that on pole, he would have won by around 40 seconds. Absolute joke that. Verstappen wins, followed by Perez and Alonso. Russell 4th, Sainz 5th. That's your top 5. I'll see you for the next Grand Prix at Imola. Ta-da.